What's going on, y'all? In today's video, I'm gonna ask you another question here. Are you doing what you love to do for a living? And if not, that's okay. Now, there's a few different ways to go about this. And one of them, which is, kind of the path that I chose, is to do what you love first. Make that your top priority, because for me, I kind of realized that if I wasn't doing what I loved, if I wasn't doing what was fulfilling to me, then I really didn't give a shit how much money I was making, because I felt unfulfilled and I felt miserable and I felt resentful. And with me, I usually do things to the extreme anyways, so I just made that decision, well, I'm going to do what I love to do first and then figure out a way to make that my living, figure out a way to make some money. Now, I don't recommend that path to everyone. It can be a very accelerated spiritual journey, because there can be a lot of pain involved and a lot of challenges involved. Now, if you do feel called to that path, then I do invite you to have the courage to go and take that leap, because it is an accelerated path of growing and development, but only if it feels aligned with you. And that doesn't mean that it's not going to feel scary, but if it feels like this is something that I am meant to do, even if it sounds like the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. So, with that being said, that's one path. The other path is, do what you need to do to make a living, to make money, to be able to support yourself, to provide safety and security for yourself. And then from that place, you've kind of got a couple different options. One is create a situation in which you are doing your job, you're doing your work that is providing you money, providing you a means of living, and doing it in a way that you have the space and the free time and the resources to do what you really love to do. And a lot of times from that path, from that perspective, from that mode of going about things, you can live a very fulfilling life, because you're doing the things that are fulfilling to you, even if the way that you make money to support yourself isn't necessarily the thing that you love most to do. But because it is providing you the freedom to do the other things, there's a reference point, there's a meaning that you can place with it. And the other side of that is, no matter what we're doing, even if it's not the most fun and exciting thing to us, a lot of what we experience and the emotions that we experience and the level of freedom that we experience ultimately come internally and aren't necessarily related to our external circumstances, like our job. Because you can take the same job, the same exact circumstances, but if your perspective is one in which, oh, I hate my job, I want to get out of here, I can't stand it, I feel like I'm in a rat race and just continuing to turn the hamster wheel day in and day out, that perspective is usually going to lead to a lot of certain types of emotions that may make you feel resentful and negative and feel like you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing with your life. Versus if you adopt the perspective of, I have the opportunity to be able to work and to be able to make money that is allowing me to invest in myself to help me grow and develop, so that I can bring more love, bring more freedom, bring more happiness to myself, because I know that those are things that are up to me to provide for myself. And even though this job may not necessarily be the thing that I want to be doing for the rest of my life, at this current time, it is providing me an amazing opportunity to be able to start to open up these other avenues for myself. So you can see the same exact situation interpreted in a different way brings on a whole different meaning, which elicits a totally different response. So when it comes to doing what you love for a living, my first invitation is to get clear on what that path looks like for you. If you feel called to go all in and do what you love, and for me, I realized that the best way for me to be successful was to put myself in a situation in which I had no other option to succeed. Because if I was too comfortable, because I was making money, because I had a secure job, then I knew I wasn't going to go all in on what I really wanted to do. And so for me, if in order to go all in on what I really wanted to do, I just needed to go all in and cut all the cords. Some people don't operate that way, and that's okay. So step one is just get clear on what is your best way of operating. What's the best path for you? And once you get clear on that, go all in. And remember through it all that freedom, that love, that happiness, fulfillment, the meaning that you give to things, the way that you perceive and interpret things, those are all things that you have control over, and those are all things that are up to you to give yourself, and that aren't necessarily predicated on your external circumstances. So run with that, meditate on that, and make the decisions that you feel are necessary, but ultimately you should be doing what you love to do for a living, in whatever way that looks like. Because when it comes to your own happiness, there's a lot of stress that is involved in waking up and doing something that you don't want to do on a daily basis. And that amount of stress ultimately begins to add up, and it can begin to manifest in physical symptoms and illness and cancer and any number of things, just from that one thing alone. So it is a very important thing to be aligned with and to consider within yourself. I hope this was helpful, and as always, stay tuned for more. I look forward to talking to you again very soon. Love you all.